Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this public hearing to order. Attending this evening are myself, Mark Fry, Mrs. Westfall, Mr. Hanson, Mr. Hand, and staff from council. Also members of the administrative staff, the mayor, Mrs. Bigelow, Ms. Browning, Chief Miller, Mr. Sanford, Mr. Sylvania, and Mr. Shaw are in attendance. As you all know, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, we created a JEDD, or a Joint Economic Development District, with this township, and the current facility is located down at Crescent Village on Holland Sylvania Road, on the east side of Holland Sylvania Road. And this addition would be for some buildings that are being constructed off of Central Avenue, what I call the old Giant Plaza right there east of the Lowe's. So Mrs. Browning, Mr. Sanford, I'm not sure what sort of recap you want to provide. I know we've talked about this a little bit from time to time, but if you could give us a brief or a quick recap, one or both of you, that would be great.
I can start, and maybe Leslie can follow that. Just a couple of things with how the JEDD is set up. With there's a JEDD board. I'm currently the city appointee. There's 5 members on the board, and then that board, as we amend and add areas to the JEDD, that board would oversee all the JEDDs, going forward. And as Mr. Fry stated, this is the former Giant Eagle Plaza. What the Giant Eagle store itself, and where I think there's 2 additional stores, the last being the pet supply office or the store there. That's going to be moved out, and that whole complex that's existing will be turned into the storage area. And if you have been by there, a new building's been constructed in the old parking lot facing Central Avenue to house two new retail facilities, and then there'll be other retail facilities going in on Central Avenue. So it's a little ways till we get to that point. So there'll be 5 businesses that will be part of this, and I can tell you 4 of them at this point. They're finalizing the 5th one. There'll be an Aldi grocery store. The Pet Supply Plus will be moving out and into another location on the site. 5 Below, that's retail, shopping, clothing, and a Five Guys restaurant. And the other is a restaurant carry-out type place. I think is what they're planning on for the 5th one. The city would, for this, and then once the businesses are established, then we make contact with each individual business, so they work with Toby in our finance office so we can collect the 1.5% income tax, and that's what gets split with the township. But we still get to take 2% from that, this new amended JEDD area for our, that's what we charge for, or that's allowable to collect the income tax.
And Mr. Sanford, just for, I think I remember the percentage splits, but of the income tax revenue after the 2% retainage for administrative purposes for the city operations, what's the split?
And this split is different than the Oak Leaf. Oak Leaf is a 50-50 split. This was part of the annexation agreement, Leslie will help me, that the split is 75% township and 25% city.
Do we know whether the revenue from projected at Aldi's, obviously, some of these businesses you mentioned are going to have a material employment? I mean, it's not like Flower Hospital or anything, but do we have a sense of what the payroll combined is going to be here?
The projection they've given us, Mark, is $4,400,000 annually. So, doing the math, the tax collection is $66,000 would be annually from that.
Okay. which is then split basically 75-25. Got it.
How is that determined? I know you said per the annexation agreement, but, 50-50 versus 25-75.
I'll let Leslie answer that.
I'm cold, that's why I'm not here today. Back when the annexation agreement was approved, we had previously contemplated that the Oak Leaf property could be potentially in a JED. So that one we specifically carved out and provided for a 50-50 split on that and agreed to the township on that. And in the annexation agreement, we said any other JED that we would enter into would be on a 75-25 split. We could obviously try to negotiate that if it comes, but for this one, I think it's reasonable, and we committed to that in the annexation agreement, that would be our split going forward with future JEDs.
So that would be for any JED, unless it was
Yes,
amended.
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
We worked hard to get that JED established. We had tried for many years. We used annexation as a threat to get them to the table to talk about the JED. And now we are receiving income that we would not see, the community would not see. That was part of my requirement, that why should residents of Toledo that would be working in the JED take their tax dollars back to Toledo? So I'm happy to see them stay in the Sylvania area,
Sure.
whether us or Sylvania Township. And that was what we needed to make the peace over annexation.
Any other questions from members of council?
I'm just curious who the 5 members on the board are. I've probably heard them, but I forget.
It's Oliver Turner from the township, I said myself from the city, John Healy, local real estate developer is the chairperson. And then there's a business rep, and that is Lauren Senstock. And the employee rep is Ian Davis, and he's with Oak Leaf.
It's set out in the statute, Mrs. Westfall, you have to have representatives from certain groups, yeah.
Other questions? Well, we've had the Fourth Estate join us. Welcome. This is a public hearing about the additional JED. Any concerns? From talking to Ms. Brining, she indicated that the township is not going to hold their public hearing until tomorrow evening on this. So my thought process would be to ask administration during council to consider ordering up legislation for the approval and modification of the JED going forward.
I have one
Yeah.
more quick question, sorry. I think I misunderstood something. Did you say, Bill, that there's going to be some storage there?
The Giant Eagle storage turned into a indoor storage unit place.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions from members of council? Hearing none, I don't need a motion to close the public hearing, so public hearing is adjourned at